Universidad de San Carlos de Guatemala, Facultad de Humanidades, Sección de Idiomas. Grammar, the 8 parts of English, presented by Crescencia Sosa Zárate and Marlene Migdalia Cruz Campos. Noun. It is a word, other than a pronoun, used to identify any of a class of people, places, or things. Common noun. Or to name a particular one of these. Proper noun. For example, in the sentence, the boy and girl were holding hands as they crossed the bridge on the way to town. We can identify some nouns: boy, girl, hands, day, bridge, way, town. Verb. Verbs are the action words in a sentence that describe what the subject is doing. For example, in the sentence, Manuel eats his lunch quickly. Eat is in third person. We went to the market. Went is in past tense of the verb go. Adjective. An adjective describes a noun or a pronoun, someone or something. An adjective comes before the noun. For example, they made a slow movement. Slow describes the subject. She is an amazing friend. Amazing describes the subject. It can also come after verbs that describe someone or something, be, get, become, etc., called linking verbs, or a sense verb: smell, taste, feel, look, seem, etc. For example, their improvement was remarkable, or their improvement seemed remarkable. Her diet smells amazing, or her diet looks amazing. Participle adjectives. Some adjectives are formed out of the present and past participle of verbs. For example, annoy, annoying, annoyed, tempt, tempting, tempted. In the sentences, my neighbors are very annoyed because they make too much noise. The chocolate cake on the table is really tempting. Should I eat? We have 2 participle adjectives. Adverb. An adverb describes a verb, an action, an adjective, another adverb, or a whole sentence. For example, I walked quickly. Quickly is describing a verb. She is a sincerely amazing woman. Sincerely is describing an adjective, amazing. He draws really amazingly. Really is describing an adverb.
Hello, my name is Crescencia Sosa. I'm going to continue explaining you the 8th part of speech according to traditional grammar. Conjunction. Conjunctions are function words that make many of these combinations possible, and there are 2 major types: coordinating and subordinating. Coordinating conjunction show here John equal linguistic units. We have and, but, for, nor, or, yet, so. For example, Peter and Mary joined the party. Or Peter opened the door, but Mary wouldn't come inside. Important. It is important to understand that punctuation is a matter of convention, which means that people generally have agreed that it should be done a certain way. In this case, the convention maintains that writers need to comma. Without it, the sentence is called renown. Peter opened the door, but Mary wouldn't come inside. The governor asked the legislature to reconsider the bill that had failed during the previous session, and convened a special task force to evaluate its ramification if passed. Subordinating conjunction. Subordinating conjunction link equal elements. More specifically, they link a dependent clause to an independent clause. Because this type of dependent clause begins with a subordinating conjunction, we refer to it as a subordinating clause. A subordinating clause is a dependent clause that begins with a subordinating conjunction. We have the common subordinating conjunctions here. For example, we have because, until, although, unless, after, whenever, in order that, and so on. Then we have preposition. A preposition generally works with a noun phrase, and together they compose a prepositional phrase. For example, aboard, against, as, beneath, but, down, following, into, of, over, round, and so on. We have more examples here. And then we have articles. Articles. There are two types of articles in English: definite and indefinite. Definite, de. Indefinite, a, an. We have examples. Number 1, the car was wrecked. Number 2, we would hear a man's voice coming up the stairwell. 3, after our ordeal, we had to search for a alibi. Particles. Particles look like prepositions and they resemble adverbials because they are linked to verbs. For example, number 1, Fritz looked up the number. Macarena put on her shoes. However, they are different from prepositions and adverbials with respect to how they can move in a sentence. Prepositions, for example, cannot move, but particles can. Also could be written as number 1, Fritz looked the number up. Number 2, Macarena put her shoes on. English allows particles to move behind the object noun phrase, but when we move a preposition, we produce an ungrammatical sentence, as in Mr. DeMarco stepped into her garden, or Mr. DeMarco stepped her garden into. The question of movement also explains why particles are not true adverbials. Most adverbials can move about in a sentence, as Macarena walked slowly to her car. Macarena slowly walked to her car. Slowly, Macarena walked to her car. Particles, however, can move only behind the noun phrase object. One possible exception may involve sentences like this: Fritz picked up the book that Macarena had dropped. If we move the particle behind the noun phrase object, we have Fritz picked the book up that Macarena had dropped. Some grammars, however, have developed rules that move the particles to the end of the dependent clause, and from time to time we may hear people doing so in their speech producing. Fritz, Fritz picked the book that Macarena had dropped up. Thank you very much for watching this video. We hope we helped you with this.